I drove 8 hours through a blizzard to surprise my wife, only to hear her talk about her fling. I left without a word. 3 weeks later, she realized what she'd lost. For context, we'd been married 6 years. Things weren't perfect, whose marriage is, but I thought we were solid. I'd been working extra shifts at the hospital. I'm an ER nurse, saving up for the vacation she'd been hinting at for months. The schedule meant I was supposed to be working late on her birthday, but I'd arranged coverage weeks in advance without telling her. The cake was her favorite, red velvet with cream cheese frosting from that bakery downtown she loves. I'd also picked up a bouquet of stargazer lilies, her favorite since our first date. I was exhausted from the drive, but feeling that anticipation you get when you know you're about to make someone happy. I used my key quietly, wanting to surprise her. Our apartment was warm compared to the freezing storm outside. I heard voices from the kitchen, her and her sister, who must have come over to keep her company on her birthday. That's when I heard it. God, I hope he works late so I could see my newfound fling. Her voice was light, almost giddy. Her sister laughed. Or at least he doesn't raise his voice. I froze in the hallway, cake in one hand, flowers in the other. The words hit me like a physical blow. Newfound fling? Doesn't raise his voice? What the hell was that supposed to mean? I've never been a shouter. Never raised a hand to anyone in my life. Was that what she wanted? Someone more aggressive? And who was this fling? I stood there for maybe 30 seconds, though it felt like hours. Then, without making a sound, I set the cake box and flowers down on the entryway table. I placed my house key on top, and I left. She didn't call that night. Didn't even text to ask why I hadn't wished her happy birthday. I checked into a motel near the hospital and stared at the ceiling until morning. The next day, I went to work as scheduled. 12-hour shift in the ER. Kept my mind busy with other people's emergencies instead of my own. When my phone finally lit up with her name around noon, I let it go to voicemail. Hey, I found the cake and flowers, and your key. Call me back, please. I don't understand what's happening. I didn't call back. Instead, I texted, *, I heard what you said to your sister. About your fling. About me. I need some time. *. Her response came quickly. *, what are you talking about? Please come home so we can talk. *. I didn't respond. Finished my shift. Went back to the motel. 3 days passed this way. Her calls became more frequent, then angry, then pleading. I answered none of them. I needed to think, and I couldn't do that with her voice in my ear, explaining away what I'd heard with my own ears. On the 4th day, I went to the apartment while I knew she'd be at work. Packed enough clothes for a couple weeks. Left a note saying I'd be in touch about the rest of my things. Her sister called next. You're being ridiculous, she said when I finally answered. It was just girl talk. She didn't mean anything by it. Girl talk about her newfound fling. I asked. A pause. That's not. You misunderstood. And what about the comment about me not raising my voice? What was that about? Look, you need to talk to her, not me. I'm not ready for that. I hung up and blocked her number 2. A week passed. I rented a small furnished apartment on a month-to-month lease. Told my supervisor at work what was happening. Arranged my schedule so I wouldn't have to worry about running into her if she came looking for me at the hospital. My parents called, then hers. Word had spread. I gave short, vague answers. We're taking some time apart. No, no one cheated. Yes, I'm fine. I wasn't fine. 10 days after her birthday, I finally agreed to meet her at a coffee shop. Neutral territory. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, eyes red-rimmed. She reached for my hand across the table, but I kept mine wrapped around my coffee cup. Please, she said. This is all a misunderstanding. I heard what you said. I replied, keeping my voice low. About your fling. About hoping I worked late. She closed her eyes. It wasn't what you think. Then what was it? The fling. It's a book club. A new one I joined. We call it a fling because it's just for fun, not like my serious book club. I stared at her. A book club. Yes. We meet Thursday evenings. You were supposed to be working late on my birthday, and I was going to go to the meeting after having cake with my sister. It sounded plausible. Almost. And the comment about me not raising my voice. Her face flushed. That was stupid. My sister was talking about how her husband yells when they argue, and I said I was lucky you don't do that. It came out wrong. So wrong that you both laughed about it. She looked down. I don't know what to say. It was thoughtless. We were drinking wine, being silly. I nodded slowly. I need more time. How much time? Her voice cracked. I don't know. 2 weeks after her birthday, I still hadn't gone home. We texted occasionally. Short, stilted conversations. She sent me the book club schedule, the names of members. It checked out. Maybe she was telling the truth about that part. But something still felt off. The way they had laughed. The tone in her voice when she'd said it. I called her sister. I need the truth, I said when she answered. The whole truth. A sigh. She really does have a book club. And she's been frustrated. Says you're always working, always tired. She feels lonely. Has she been seeing someone else? No. God, no. She loves you. But she's been, I don't know, wondering what it would be like to be with someone more present. There it was. Not quite cheating, but the door to it cracked open. Thank you for being honest, I said, and hung up. 3 weeks after her birthday, I agreed to come to the apartment to talk. Really talk. She'd cleaned the place spotlessly, made my favorite dinner, tried too hard. We sat at the kitchen table, the same one where she'd made that comment to her sister. I'm sorry, she said immediately. I'm so sorry. I nodded. I know. I didn't cheat on you. I would never. But you thought about it. She looked away. Not seriously. It was just talk. Talk that hurt me deeply. I know. Tears welled in her eyes. These past weeks have been hell. I realized how much I took you for granted. How much I love you. I took a deep breath. I've been thinking a lot. About us. About how we got here. And I think we both stopped trying. I've been working too much, coming home exhausted. You've been feeling neglected. We stopped talking about the important stuff. She nodded, wiping at her eyes. I don't want a divorce, I said finally. Her head snapped up. You don't? No. But I want things to change. Real change, not just promises. Anything, she whispered. Couples counseling, for starters. And I'm going to request fewer overnight shifts. And you need to be honest with me, completely honest, about what you need. She reached for my hand again, and this time, I let her take it. I'm still hurt, I said. That's not going to go away overnight. I know. I'll do whatever it takes to rebuild your trust. I nodded. One day at a time. Update. 6 months later. It's been half a year since that night in the snowstorm. We've been in couples counseling weekly and individually too. Turns out we both had issues we weren't dealing with. The truth, which came out in therapy, was that she had been developing feelings for someone in her actual book club, not acting on them, but fantasizing. The comment to her sister was part venting, part testing the waters of what it might be like to actually cheat. She's since left that book club and found a different one. As for the comment about me not raising my voice, that hit hard in therapy. Apparently, my quiet, steady demeanor, which I'd always thought was a strength, sometimes made her feel like I didn't care enough to get angry. Like her feelings weren't important enough to provoke a reaction. I've been working on being more expressive, showing my emotions more clearly without losing control. We're not perfect. There are still days when I remember that night and feel a stab of pain. Days when she worries I'll never fully trust her again. But we're trying. Really trying. Last week, we finally took that vacation I'd been saving for. A small cabin by a lake, no internet, no distractions. Just us, talking, reconnecting. On our last night there, she asked if I regretted coming back. No, I told her honestly. But I don't regret leaving either. Sometimes you need to step away to see things clearly. She nodded, leaning her head against my shoulder. I think about that cake sometimes. The one you left in the hallway. How you drove through a blizzard to surprise me. And I ruined it with my stupid mouth. You didn't ruin everything, I said. Just that night. We're building something new now. Something more honest, more intentional. I don't know if it's better yet, but it's real. And for now, that's enough. Update. 1 year later. It's been a year since the snowstorm incident. We decided to spend her birthday this year at home, just the two of us. No surprises, no misunderstandings. The counseling has helped tremendously. We've learned to communicate better, to check in with each other regularly about how we're feeling. I've cut back my hours at the hospital, and she's been more vocal about when she needs my attention rather than letting resentment build. Trust has been the hardest part to rebuild. For months, I found myself checking her phone when she wasn't looking, scanning for messages from unknown numbers. I'm not proud of it, but it happened. Eventually, I told her about it in therapy, and instead of getting angry, she gave me her passwords. Said she had nothing to hide, and understood why I felt the need to check. Somehow, her offering made me stop wanting to look. We've had setbacks, arguments that spiraled into bringing up past hurts, moments of doubt, but we've also had breakthroughs. Conversations that went deep into the night about what we want from life, from each other. We've remembered why we fell in love in the first place. Last week, she told me she's pregnant. It wasn't planned. We had actually been waiting until we felt more stable, but we're cautiously excited. Terrified too, of course. A baby won't fix our problems, might even create new ones. But it feels like a fresh start, a reason to keep working at this. I still think about that night sometimes. How close I came to walking away for good. How different our lives would be now if I had. I'm glad I didn't. Even though the path back to each other has been harder than either of us expected, she still deeply regrets what she said that night. I've learned to forgive, even if I can't completely forget. And maybe that's the best any of us can hope for. Not a perfect relationship, but one where we choose each other, flaws and all, every single day.